Okay, wir fangen einfach mal hiermit an. Moment mal, Wrist Enthusiast, das ist doch der, den wir immer repostet haben. Ich habe sogar seine Nummer. Krass, Alter, hat er jetzt einen YouTube-Kanal. Hey, Kevin O'Leary ist übrigens auch unter Vertrag bei Producer Michael. Wer weiß, vielleicht haben wir auch mal die Möglichkeit, ein Video mit ihm zu schießen. Das ist derjenige, erinnert ihr euch noch an die Zeit, wo ich immer diese, so welcher Star welche Uhr getragen hat? Wieder zu leise, ja. Da war er der Autor.
I'm here with Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank. Hi, Kevin.
Great to be here. Thank you so much.
Well,
I'm a big fan, by the way.
Thank you very much. What I like to do first when I do these types of interviews is just do a quick wrist check. What do you got on your wrist today?
In New York City for the day, doing a lot of media, I wear two pieces now. One is New York time. I'm wearing an Elegant from F.P. Journe, which I consider, or used to be, an entry-level watch from Journe, but such a functional piece. Yeah. So easy to work with. And I was also wearing, before I took it off to put it on the tray, just one of my favorite Daytonas with Abu Dhabi time on it. So I have New York time, Abu Dhabi time. I have so many people working with me now in Abu Dhabi.
Ah, okay, das wusste ich gar nicht.
I don't like to wake them up at 2 in the morning because I keep forgetting how many hours it's shifted. But those are my two. And I will often wear 6 different pieces, 2 in the morning, 2 at lunch, and switch out for night time.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm only wearing one. This kind of went viral a little bit.
It did, because I really was moved. I'd waited 2 years. I was so part of the design.
Das ist quasi sein Piece Unique.
Of this, so even consulting, I was so adamant about it that it hold its heritage from the mid 72, 73, that it be made in the metal that was created by its creator, and this was not easy for them to do.
Yeah.
To place this bevel in here, but here it is, with a red sweep. I mean, this is a classic Shark Tank with a red factory band. It was a rock star when it showed up. I have been unable to insure it.
Really?
It's a one-of-a-kind, irreplaceable. They'll never do it again.
I just wonder, and I think a
Stark.
lot of, my subscribers would wonder too, how does one even get to the point where AP will make them something like that?
Well, I think it was the narrative we were having just before we talked about this particular piece. Their management knows, and their team knows, that I don't do this as an investment. It has nothing to do with money for me. Yeah. I'm a believer in what they've created and the DNA of this watch and what it means in a collection and how important it is to even ever establish yourself that they would consider making a piece unique.
Yeah.
Because that is an honor that you can't get until you've been a collector for decades. And I'd argue you have to be known by all the brands, because within the community, particularly with the Three Horsemen, Patek, AP.
Next
up. We should talk about what happened last week in Miami boutique of the sale of the pink Elegant. Most people thought, okay, it's going to go for $100,000, which would be somebody gifting to a charity.
Yeah.
It got up to $300,000, and it stalled for a few minutes. It was a 10-minute auction. And then a voice from Asia came over the phone and bought it for $420,000.
Yeah.
That's a record by any measure, any metric. That triggered.
Ist es in der Theorie eigentlich auch möglich, ein Piece Unique von der Marke wie AP zu bekommen, ohne in der Öffentlichkeit zu stehen? Klar, gibt es viele, die das immer mal wieder bekommen. Es kommen immer wieder Uhren auf, die auch von normalen Leuten, ja.
Started asking, okay, what happened there? Because that buyer did not get a tax write-off.
Yeah.
This is an American charity. It was assumed to be an American buyer. It's probably, for Journe, it affirms what's happened to that brand.
Yeah.
He is literally the living Picasso of watchmaking right now. I mean, period. But it also makes you wonder what that does for people that are interested in buying a Journe. That's going to be very difficult for him.
Yeah.
Because, Journe's got this tremendous balance he's got to deal with. He's got to deal with his collectors that made him what he is. And I luckily fall into that group. But he needs to bring in new people.
Yeah.
And I would argue, and I think they have gone to this metric, 2/3 collectors, 1/3 new, and they have to select who comes into the family to expand the brand around the world.
I've heard rumors that he doesn't want anyone making watches once he's gone. Do you think the brand will survive him?
Here's how I think about it. I'm just one collector. There is going to be 2 periods of the Journe brand. Journe when he was alive, and Journe when he's not with us anymore. I am going to get every single Journe I'm offered during the Journe is alive period.
Wenn du eine eigene Uhr entwickeln dürftest, wie würde die aussehen? Also wir sind aktuell, also ich versuche, weil wir hatten Kontakt zu einem Uhrmacher, da mir eine Uhr bauen zu lassen, und zwar von Vivian Halter, genau. Und zwar hier, ich hatte ihn mal kennengelernt bei uns zu Hause und da ist nicht diese Uhr, sondern in diesem Stil hier. Der ist dafür bekannt, der macht ganz kleine Serien. Ist aber auch schon sehr gefragt, findet man nicht viel drüber. Und ja, vielleicht, wenn er ja sagt, dann werden wir da ein Projekt sehen. Ich will auf jeden Fall irgendwas mit Lila machen und vielleicht mit arabischem Schrift, aber gucken mal. Wenn er ja sagt, er meinte vor Ort, er würde es machen. Und ich würde vielleicht sogar eine Uhr nehmen, die rückwärts läuft. Jetzt wird es ganz verrückt, ne? Jetzt wird es ganz verrückt. So, was haben wir hier noch? Thoughts on Richard Mille.
I saw that you got your first Richard Mille recently. I think it was the 6701, the extra flat. To me, that's a watch that just says Mr. Wonderful RM with the rubber straps, and you can throw a red band on it. What took you so long to get into that brand, and owning one, how do you feel about it now?
So let me tell you exactly why it was such a long journey into RM. RM is a
Eine Uhr.
For a lot of reasons. They exploded within the doll, the story of materials, the ability to withstand shock, all of that. They went through the roof in 2020 with the Bitcoin association, with crypto. The challenge for me on television is the director of wardrobe, is the set designers. You know, Shark Tank is one show, but I do lots of television, and the RM design, and I respect all watch design, is aggressive.
Yeah.
It's in your face.
Yeah.
If you're on set, on a news set, and you're perhaps holding a pen, and you're, you know, this is very often a situation maybe on Shark Tank or maybe on ABC News or something. The piece is here, the pen is here, the second piece is here. If it's a Journe, it's a very low profile, as you can see here. If it's an RM, it's in your face.
Yeah.
And often with fluorescent colors. And so when approached by the brand, I would say, I don't know what to do with you guys. When can you make me something that is going to be more appropriate with the demands of these designers? I got to photograph the piece, I've got to show it on my wrist, I've got to get approval, it's got to go, it's got to have a red band. Then that 01 came out.
Yeah.
What a beautiful piece.
Yeah.
Now, they've had a lot of trouble making those, they're so thin. It's not in your face.
What's the next flashy watch that you have your eyes on?
There's an off-catalog Daytona that is covered with rubies. I call it the
sehr schöne Uhr.
That makes sense.
You know, I'll tell you how I work with all of the brands. It's something, you know, I'm half Lebanese, half Irish. And my grandmother taught me something about the culture, Bedouin culture, which has served me well in the Middle East. You know, I have my residency card in the UAE now.
Oh.
She told me when I was very young, and she couldn't even speak English. It had to be translated to me. You only ask once. Once. You never have to ask again.
Das könnten sich die Leute aus dem Chat mal merken.
If they respect you, they'll remember the ask. They may not give it to you, but Rolex knows if one of those pieces comes to North America, it should be on my wrist, because that is a Shark Tank watch.
Yeah.
It's red, it's going to be spectacular. When I think about what's next, it's not really a production watch. There are off-catalog Rolexes that come through. I mean, like every other collector, I have more Rolexes than anything else.
Yeah.
I've got every Rolex.
I wanted to show you this Fleming. So Fleming is a new brand. They launched last Monday. The rest of these are all from European. We wanted to bring kind of like a big, you know, selection of watches.
Yeah.
I know that you have a couple of these.
I have 3 of those. Yeah.
Which 3 do you have?
I have the Journe, obviously. I have the 175 world timer, not the hand enameled one, but I treasure mine because it's very hard to get those. And I have the Lange. When people ask me what Patek should I get first, I always say get a world timer. I mean, if you have access to one, it's the classic, ultimate, never going to lose value if you're concerned about that. But also,
Parmigiani.
No, I haven't. I've heard about it. You know, the problem. Think about this for brands. When I talk to them, I have to talk piece unique.
Yeah.
Which is a huge problem.
Yeah.
And you know, this is not going to take a red band, obviously. And so it puts me in a bit of a lockbox, this issue too.
Yeah.
You know, it's sort of, again, a spectacular dial and a very, very beautiful piece. But in the auction market, I would say that it's going to be challenged because of its size.
Yeah.
Although it does look good.
Yeah.
You know, it's got great elements of sport, but it's also, there's nothing wrong with
I
that.
think it's a GMTM chronograph.
Ja, ja, ihr habt den Link, wenn ihr noch Interesse habt, könnt ihr euch das nochmal anschauen. Sehr interessantes Video.